Sumitra, Suraj, Suzanne, Tejas, Tejasmini, Tejas Gaukar, right? Purvita, Vibha, and Logan. I'll call out the names to come here and give your speech. The timer is, there will be one bell given at 2 minutes.
Wallpaper? No, no, that delay on. It's delay 30 seconds.
Let us start with the first contestant today. So we have serial number 81, Saicha Rudraj Goswami. After her, it will be Samruddhi Hai, and he be ready. Now it's serial number 81. Slight change. As the judges don't have the list of contestants from 81 to 85, we'll do that slot in. Let us start with serial number 85.
81. 81 is not 83.
Is there 83? Is not there. Okay. Let us start from 85 onwards. Then we come back to this. The minute we get the list, okay, in some time. So the first contestant in that case is serial number 86. That is Samskruti Velkar. Please come. After that, we will have serial number 91, Shanta. Be ready.
Check. Hello. Yes.
एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत. But unity is just not a word, but the way of life. Today, I, Samruddhi Velkar from Don Bosco College of Engineering, stand before you to discuss about an idea where we can change this dream into reality. One nation, one election. Imagine India where the rhythm of progress isn't interrupted by elections every few months. Imagine India where our leaders, where our public servants, just focus on governance and development rather than doing campaigns. On governance, development and very essence of Jan Seva, service of people without constant distractions of campaign raids. Consider farmer from a remote village who is in need of irrigation process. And elections come, the progress gets delayed. Elections go, and the same thing repeats. Is this the India we want? Is this the Viksit Bharat we aim for? No. But election, one nation is just not for consistency or for convenience. It is about efficiency. Think about crores of rupees spent every multiple times during elections, which can be used to make schools, buildings, hospitals. And it is also about governance. Just think about leaders who focus more on policies more than politics. It is also about unity, which is the most important thing. One electoral cycle can bring the nation together. Focusing on the very essence of shared knowledge, sense of purpose and direction. Yes, some may argue about the challenges, about the complexities, and yes, there are challenges. But as Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel said, manpower without unity is not the strength, unless and until it is harmonized and united. And then it becomes a spiritual power. We as a nation have the strength, have the will, have the intellect to overcome this challenge, and we can do it. It isn't just about streamlining elections. It is about stemming global. One nation, one
Next contestant is serial number 91, Shanta. Kindly come forward. After this is serial number 92, Sean. Kindly be ready. Now, serial number 91, Shanta.
नमस्ते आप सभी को। मेरा नाम शांता रेड्डी है, गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज ऑफ आर्ट्स साइंस एंड कॉमर्स केपीएन से। हम सब जानते हैं कि इलेक्शन तो होते ही है, लेकिन पहले क्या बताते हैं, कुछ करेंगे, कुछ कर दिखाएंगे, लेकिन बाद में कुछ किया नहीं जाता है, कोई एक्शंस नहीं लिया जाता है। तो आज यहाँ पर वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन को लागू करने से भारत को या विकसित भारत बनाने की दिशा में कई लाभ हो सकते हैं, इसके बारे में चर्चा करना चाहूंगी। तो पहला, हम देखते हैं राजनीतिक स्थिरता में कि बार बार चुनाव होने से राजनीतिक अस्थिरता बढ़ती है। अस्थिरता, लेकिन एक साथ चुनाव कराने से सरकार को लंबे समय तक स्थिरता मिलेगी, जिससे नीतियां और भी बेहतर तरीके से लागू हो सकेंगे। और वन इलेक्शन अपनाने से आर्थिक बचत में भी सुधार आ सकता है। जैसे कि हम सब जानते हैं, चुनाव कराने में काफी पैसा और संसाधन लगते हैं, काफी खर्च भी होता है, लेकिन एक बार चुनाव कराने से इन खर्चों में भारी कमी आएगी और इन बचत को विकास कार्यों में भी लगाया जा सकता है। यही नहीं, बचत का उपयोग आदिवासी विकास, जो चुनाव होने वाला पैसा बचाया जाता है, उन्हीं पैसों से आदिवासी इलाकों में स्कूल, अस्पताल, सड़कें, पानी, बिजली जैसी सुविधाएं भी दी जा सकती हैं। और बार बार चुनाव होने से स्वास्थ्य सेवा ठीक से चल नहीं पाती है। अगर सरकार को बिना रुकावट के काम करने का मौका मिला, तो वह आदिवासी बच्चों के लिए भी स्कूल छात्रवृत्ति, खाने की योजनाएं अच्छे से चला सकेगी। बार बार चुनाव आदिवासी लोगों की समस्याओं पर ध्यान नहीं दे पाता, और अगर चुनाव एक साथ होंगे तो उनकी सुनी जाएगी और नेता और भी मजबूत हो सकेंगे। तो वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन लागू करने से इसका सकारात्मक प्रभाव गरीब बच्चों पर भी पड़ सकता है। अगर चुनाव एक साथ होंगे तो इस स्कूल बनाने, किताबें देने और शिक्षा में सुधार के लिए भी किया जा सकता है, और इस तरह से गरीब बच्चों को बेहतर शिक्षा सुविधाएं भी मिल सकती है। दोस्तों, मैं बस यही कहना चाहूंगी कि एक राष्ट्र एक चुनाव से आदिवासी समुदायों को भी विकास का अधिक लाभ मिलेगा और इससे सुविधाएं बढ़ेगी, रोजगारी के अवसर मिलेंगे और शिक्षा तथा स्वास्थ्य सेवाएं बेहतर होगी। यह भारत को विकसित भारत बनाने की दिशा में एक मजबूत कदम होगा। जय हिंद, जय भारत। धन्यवाद।
Sean, participant 92. Sri Sairam, participant 97.
Good morning, esteemed panel of judges, teachers, and my dear friends. I am Sean Fernandez from Bosco College of Engineering, Fatorda, Goa. I'm here to talk about what one nation, one election will lead us to a future of Viksit Bharat. Imagine an India where the election is only held once. This, my friends, is not just a dream, but it can be made a reality. And I'm going to present 4 points stating how this is important. My first point is that thousands of crores, instead of being spent on election operations, can be instead used to nourish 3 areas: education, healthcare, and better quality of life for our nation. My second point is MCC, which is the Model Code of Conduct, which is implemented multiple times over multiple years because of multiple elections. Now, we will conduct it only once in every 5 years, and this will give our government time to create new policies for our citizens. It will also increase the efficiency of our economy. My third point is that we will increase the number of active voters. Holding multiple elections confuses the voters. It also makes them slightly fatigued. But now, since we have only one election, it will encourage more voters to come forward and place their votes. My fourth and last point is that countries like Sweden, countries like South Africa have already used the system of one election and they have been successful. This states that it is not weakening the democracy in any way, but you are only strengthening our democracy. In the past, India used the system of one nation, one election during its founding years. If they could do it in the past, I believe it can be done in the future. Now, like any revolutionary system that has come before, it has its flaws, and as critics have stated, it will be difficult to manage an election of this scale. It will be difficult to adjust the constitution according to this new one nation, one election policy, and it will be difficult to address local issues. But I believe in the human spirit. I believe we can come up with a solution and implement one nation, one election, and truly make India one of the greatest nations. That is a Viksit Bharat. Thank you. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.
Each participant is Sri Saira. His number is 97. Thereafter is Shreya Joshi.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sri Saram. My name is Sri Saram Goan from Goan Faculty College, Fatorda. As citizens of the world's largest democracy, we take pride in our electoral system. However, frequent elections across different states and in the center lead to huge costs, delays in development, and continuous political campaigning. To address the challenges, the idea of a one nation, one election has been introduced. This reform proposes that Lok Sabha and the state assembly elections will be held together across the country. It will save time, reduce expenses, and ensure smooth governance. Leaders can focus more nation building, economic growth, and public welfare instead of constant election campaigns. With political stability, efficient decision making, India can move towards Viksit Bharat, a strong, self-reliant and developed nation. Let us responsible citizens support one nation, one election for better and brighter future. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Next is Shreya Joshi. Participant number 98. After that is Srishti Rathali. Participant 99 will be after this.
As an engineering student, the first thing that I'm taught to ask is what is the physical significance of a mathematical equation, isn't it? So if you ask me, what is the physical importance of O and OE, what does it translate to me? I would simply say a larger vision. एकता और अखंडता का एक नया रूप. भारत एक ऐसा देश जहां हर 50 मील पर रूप, पहचान, वेशभूषा बदल जाती है. वहां चुनाव लड़ाना कोई आसान बात नहीं है. On 2nd September 2023, a high-level committee was formed with the bestest minds of country. And by bestest mind, I don't mean the Hindu point of mind or any single ideology. These people studied the model of South Africa, Indonesia, and other countries and proposed a total 6 to 6-page report to the parliament, which was approved a year later. This OMOE had some stated and clear objectives. First, saving costs. Second, reducing frequent imposition of model code of conduct. Third, reducing precious time during campaigns and other resources. Critics, however, thinks that they have raised some valid concerns. They think that this will weaken federalism in the country. And administrative complexity due to fall of midterm government. That's right. But to overcome this fall of midterm government, concepts like full term and unexpired term can already be seen in the report. Why change the system now? Right? Why? OMOE will develop India from within, which is very important because we believe in Ekta in Anekta, unity in diversity, to strengthen our relationship between our civilization, our nationhood, and our statehood, bringing the whole country together. This is the right time to do it because India has never been in a better position before. We are the fastest growing major economy. We are fifth largest in terms of GDP and youngest nation in terms of demographic advantage. Holding youth parliaments like this and listening to the young voices represents a true democracy, a democracy that believes in trust and participation. For me, this does not weaken federalism, but it awakens it. For India to build a stronger relation between the people and the nation, this OLOE is not just a policy, but it will develop India from within. That is why this is necessary, and this change will make India become Vishwaguru in coming years. I would like to conclude by saying, लोकतंत्र का महोत्सव है चुनाव, देश की दिशा और दशा तय करता है चुनाव, राजनीति से छान कर राष्ट्र नीति बनाता है चुनाव, और जब भारत तो क्यों न हो एक देश एक चुनाव. Thank you.
She was participant number 98, Shreya Joshi. Now the participant 99, Distinct Ratalji. Participant 99.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Viksit Bharat from Goan College of Arts, Science, Commerce, Fatorda. I was fascinated by the ink mark on voters' index fingers. Even trying to replicate it at home. But back then, I didn't grasp the significance of voting. I understand the importance of this fundamental right and how initiatives like one election can shape India's future. One nation, one election, a revolutionary concept that's poised to transform India's governmental democracy. It is a concept it is an idea that is powerful to visualize the electoral process of state legislative assemblies and local bodies to hold simultaneous elections. And disruptions caused by frequent elections, allowing for uninterrupted governance and faster implementation of projects. So, what are the benefits of this approach? Firstly, reduce costs. Some elections can significantly cut expenses on security, manpower, and logistics. Second is enhanced governance. Unified elections can ensure uninterrupted governance and faster implementation of projects. Improved voter engagement. Elections can address improved voter engagement and enhance their participation. Last but not the least is administrative efficiency. A unified electoral process can optimize the deployment of resources. But one nation, one election is not just a practical solution. It is a vision for a more unified and prosperous India. By aligning the electoral processes, India can foster national vision of governance and promote unity. Of course, implementation of the vision will be careful planning and hierarchies, is a India to streamline its governance and unlock its potential.
Is 101. But is 101. Thereafter is 50.
One nation, one election, paving the way for Viksit Bharat. Good morning, everyone. India, the world's largest democracy, is known for its vibrant electoral process. However, frequent elections at different levels, Lok Sabha, state assemblies, and local bodies, often lead to political instability, policy paralysis, and significant financial burden. The concept of one nation, one election aims to synchronize all elections, ensuring they are conducted simultaneously across the country. This reform is not just about convenience, it is about efficiency, stability, and national progress. Currently, India is in election mode almost every year, which disrupts the governance due to repeated imposition of the model code of conduct. A synchronized election cycle would allow governments to focus on long-term development instead of short-term populist measures. This will pave the way for Viksit Bharat, a developed India, by ensuring an uninterrupted policy making, economic growth, and governance. The financial burden of conducting elections is massive. The 2019 Lok Sabha elections costed around rupees 60,000 crore. If clubbed with state elections, the savings could be directed towards education, healthcare, and infrastructure, accelerating India's development. Additionally, frequent elections lead to unnecessary political rivalries, diverting leaders from their primary responsibility, nation building. However, implementing one nation, one election requires constitutional and logistical changes. It calls for consensus among political parties and electoral reforms. But history shows that India can successfully undertake large-scale changes, from demonetization to the GST implementation, with the right framework. This reform is achievable. A developed India, Viksit Bharat, demands strong governance, stable policies, and a vision that transcends election cycles. One nation, one election is a step in this direction. By embracing this change, we ensure that democracy remains a force for progress, not just politics. Thank you.
Participant number 101, Shubhai. After that is participant 102, Christine. Participant 105, Shubhai, be ready.
गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। भारत दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र है और पांचवी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था है, लेकिन हमें खुद से एक सवाल पूछना चाहिए, इतनी बड़ी लोकशाही होने के बाद भी क्या हम और तेजी से विकसित भारत की ओर कदम नहीं रख सकते? इसका एक बड़ा कारण है हमारे देश में होने वाले लगातार चुनाव, कभी लोकसभा के, कभी विधानसभा के, तो कभी पंचायत के चुनाव। साल देश में कहीं ना कहीं चुनाव होते रहते हैं। इससे यह होता है कि सरकार और जनता दोनों का फोकस विकास से हटकर चुनाव जीतने पर आ जाता है। इसीलिए हमें जरूरत है वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन की, क्योंकि सारे चुनाव एक साथ करेंगे तो सरकार का पैसा, मेहनत और समय डेवलपमेंट में लगाया जा सकता है। आज हर चुनाव पर करोड़ों रुपए खर्च होते हैं। यह पैसा बचाया जाए तो उससे स्कूल, अस्पताल और रिसर्च सेंटर्स और युवकों के लिए रोजगार के अवसर तैयार किए जा सकते हैं। दोस्तों, आज के युवा पढ़ाई पूरी करने के बाद विदेश जाए, उन्हें लगता है कि हमारे देश में मौके कम हैं और सैलरी भी कम है। मजदूरों और कामगारों को उनकी मेहनत का पूरा हक नहीं मिल पाता। क्यों? क्योंकि बार बार चुनाव के कारण सरकार के टैक्स बीच में ही अटक जाते हैं। जब कोई योजना आधी अधूरी रह जाती है तो गरीब गरीब ही रह जाता है और देश की प्रगति धीमी हो जाती है। इसके अलावा बार बार चुनाव के कारण समाज में धार्मिक और जातिगत तनाव बढ़ जाता है। इससे हमारे देश की एकता को नुकसान पहुंचता है। हाँ, मुझे मालूम है वन इलेक्शन लागू करने के लिए कई चुनौतियां हैं, जैसे कि संविधान में बदलाव करना, राजनीतिक दलों की सहमति और कई अड़चने। लेकिन हम भारतीय हैं जो इम्पॉसिबल को भी पॉसिबल कर सकते हैं। जब हम चंद्रमा पर कदम रख सकते हैं तो क्या हम एक साथ चुनाव नहीं कर सकते? आज जरूरत है कि हम मिलकर तय करें, चुनाव का बोझ कम करें और हमारे देश के विकास का रास्ता खोलें। क्योंकि विकसित भारत सिर्फ एक सपना नहीं है, यह हमारी पीढ़ी की जिम्मेदारी है। वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन, अ स्ट्रॉन्ग स्टेप टुवर्ड्स द विकसित भारत। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
The next participant is Somay Naik. After that is Sumitra.
The essence of a democracy is not merely in frequent elections, but in a stable and effective governance that empowers its people. Good afternoon, good morning, all the judges. My name is Somay Naik, and I am here to speak on One Nation, One Election for the Viksit Bharat. India, the world's largest democracy, is perpetually engaged in elections. Lok Sabha, state assembly elections, municipal elections, panchayat elections, and whatnot. These constant elections are held at staggered intervals. While elections epitomize democratic participation, this infrequent frequency of elections presents significant challenges such as governance paralysis, policy stagnation, strength, and electoral fatigue to the voters. In our context, the One Nation, One Election is not just a mere reform, but a proper fundamental restructuring to our existing democratic framework, one that propels our nation to a Viksit Bharat. A democratic nation necessitates stability, efficiency, and visionary governance. However, constant elections hinder this progress and policy making by constantly invoking model code of conduct, thereby suspending crucial governance activities due to political commitments of various leaders and the government. From an economic standpoint, these implications are profound. Exorbitant financial outlay associated with conducting elections, ranging from security deployments to administrative logistics, amounts to thousands of crores. By consolidating elections into a single synchronized process, these expenditures could be substantially curtailed, enabling reallocation of vital resources to education, healthcare, infrastructure, and technological advancements that form the bedrock of our nation. Additionally, by mitigating voter fatigue, simultaneous elections could foster higher voter engagement, ensuring more deliberative economic participation. However, implementing this reform necessitates constitutional amendments, multi-party consensus, and meticulous logistical orchestration. A primary concern is the impact on federalism. A state must retain its political autonomy, and the governance structures must not be compromised. Furthermore, contingencies such as premature dissolution of a state government demand carefully crafted provisions. Such fixed-term government mechanisms or constructive votes of no confidence to uphold democratic stability. Despite these challenges, the advantages overwhelmingly outweigh the obstacles. Several nations such as Sweden and South Africa have already implemented One Nation, One Election that is streamlined, fiscally prudent, and conducive to their sustainable development. In conclusion, if we aspire for a truly Viksit Bharat, we must embrace a progressive reform such as One Nation, One Election. And it's not merely a question of feasibility, but a a necessity. The time has come to transcend political inertia and envision an India where governance is proactive, democracy is robust, and development is unimpeded. Thank you.
Your participant 105 Soham, 2 points. Now is 106 is, sorry, 107 is Sumitra. Thereafter 108 is Suraj. You have to be ready.
Good morning. I am Sumitra Jetty from Goa Multi Secretary College. एक देश एक निवडणूक विकसित भारताकडे वाटचाल. नमस्कार. आज मी एक देश एक निवडणूक विकसित भारताकडे वाटचाल या महत्त्वाच्या विषयावर बोलणार आहे. की सध्या भारतात वेगवेगळ्या राज्यांमध्ये आणि केंद्र निवडणुकीमध्ये वेगवेगळ्या होतात. त्यामुळे वारंवार निवडणुका होतात. त्यासाठी मोठा खर्च आणि प्रशासनाचे लक्ष वारंवार निवडणुकाकडे वळते. एक देश एक निवडणूक ही संकल्पना म्हणजे संपूर्ण देशात लोकसभा आणि विधानसभेच्या निवडणुकाकडे एक वेळी घेण्याची कल्पना आहे. त्यामुळे अनेक फायदे होऊ शकतात. पहिले फायदे म्हणजे देशात वेळ आणि पैसा वाचेल. वारंवार निवडणुकाकडे घेतल्यामुळे सरकारला मोठा खर्च करावा लागते. जर एकाच वेळी निवडणुकाकडे घेतला तर हा खर्च खूपच कमी होईल. धन्यवाद.
Now we have next participant 108 Suraj. Now take 108.
Good morning everyone. My name is Suraj from Goan Multi College, Fatorda. India is the world's largest democracy, but frequent elections across the state and the center lead to governance disruption, high cost, and continuous political campaign. To address this challenge, idea of one nation, one election has been introduced. This concept proposes conducting of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha elections together across the country. This will ensure continuous development as frequent elections often delay in key policies and decisions. Simultaneous election cycle will allow government to focus on long-term growth without interruption. It will also result in massive cost saving as conducting elections requires thousands of crores each time. By having a single election cycle, these funds can be better utilized for healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Implementing one nation, one election will require constitutional amendment, political discussion, and technological advancement. However, India achieved great milestones in technology space, and digital economy. So we can also modernize our electoral system too. It is not just about election reform; it's about creating an efficient, stable, and globally respected India. So let us support this progressive and productive initiative. One nation, one election, a new era of democracy. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
That was the participant number 108, Suraj Gaude. Next coming up is participant number 109, Susan Andhra.
Good morning, respected judges, my friends. Myself, Susan Andhra from the Bosco College of Engineering, Fatorda. One nation, one election is an idea that will completely change the way India conducts its democracy. Right now, elections happen every year in different states, which leads to the politicians only focusing on the elections rather than focusing on the long-term development. If we synchronize Lok Sabha and state assembly elections, it could save a huge amount of time, money, and resources while ensuring government have a stable 5-year term to focus on real development. This could change a big step in Viksit Bharat 2047, where India isn't just growing fast, but is also developed in its efficiency and governance. Imagine a country where policies aren't constantly disrupted, where governments have the time and stability to bring real change, and where election expenses don't drain the economy so frequently. It could also mean that people get to vote with a broader perspective, making more informed choices rather than being influenced by short-term political strategies. But making this reality isn't easy. India is a diverse country, and different states have different political situations. What happens if a state government collapses before 5 years? Should elections for the state be delayed until the next cycle, leaving it under president's rule? Would regional parties, which often depend on state elections, agree to this system? These are complex challenges that need to be addressed before the reform can be implemented. Despite these hurdles, one nation, one election is a vision worth considering. If done thoughtfully, with proper safeguards, it could lead to a more stable and development-focused India. It's a bold step, but one that could pave the way for a stronger, more efficient democracy, bringing us closer to a dream of a truly developed India. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
That was Susan Nanda. Next coming up is participant number 112, 112, Tejas Sadanand Gaonkar. Tejas Sadanand Gaonkar. After that will be participant number 113, Tejaswini N. Coming up is 112, Tejas Sadanand Gaonkar.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Viksit Bharat from Goa Multi-Faculty College. It is an honor to speak on a reform that could transform India and march towards the vision of Viksit Bharat by 2047. We must ensure stable, efficient, and development-focused democracy. Today, beyond election disrupt governance, drain public fund, and slow down decision making. Election in India happen almost every year. Lok Sabha, State Assembly, and local bodies all have separate schedules. This leads to government delays as policy take backseat during the election periods. Financial burden, election costing thousands of crores. Political stability, short-term populism replaces long-term building. How do we fix this? First, political stability and good governance. With a single election cycle, government can focus on their full-term election distractions. Critical sectors like infrastructure, healthcare, and education will receive uninterrupted attention, accelerating development. Second, economic savings and stability. Conducting election will cost thousands of crores that could be invested in welfare and job creation. A stable political environment will boost investors' confidence, strengthening India's economic growth. Centering democracy. Citizens will vote for a national and state, promoting accountability and issue-related elections. This will reduce divisive politics and ensure government works towards long-term progress. Implementing this reform requires solution like not just India. It is ensuring quality, connectivity, strengthening democracy. This reform will be correct. The time is now and for India, Jai Hind.
Next coming up is number 113, Tejaswini N. Number 113. Department 115 Utrika.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tejaswini N. I am from Goa Multi-Brigade. Every 5 years, there is an election, like selecting our local leader, state leader, and our national leader. One nation, one election is aimed to all the elections should be at the same time, so that they can save their money to build schools, colleges, rather than wasting their money campaigning, etc. This is aimed to build a strong India. Thank you.
That was Tejaswini 113. Next coming up is the 115.
Good morning, everyone. I am Urpita Javed and I am from Goa Multi-Faculty College, Darbandura, Goa. Today, I stand before you as a vision of stronger, faster, and more efficient India, where the development is not put on hold, where the resources are used wisely, where the governance is not just about the elections, but about the actions. It is not just a dream, it is the possibility. And that possibility lies in one election, one nation, one election. It's been too long that India has caught up in an unending election cycle, one election after the another, and bringing governance standstill. My dear friends, it is the time to wake up, to put India first. The harsh reality, the cost of frequent elections. Firstly, the development gets delayed. The policies for women, youth, farmers are put on hold due to the election restrictions. Secondly, huge amount of money is wasted. Government spend huge amount of money during election. Thirdly, political chaos. Leaders spend most of their time in campaign mode, focuses on getting votes rather than nation building. Is this the India we want? The India that is always voting but rarely developing? No, right? Imagine an election where all elections are happening together of Lok Sabha, state council, and local bodies. What will it give us? It will give us an uninterrupted governance where there are no more policy paralysis, only action and development. Huge financial saving. We were able to spend the money on education, healthcare, and better roads. Thirdly, strong democracy. People were able to choose their government, depend upon their work, and not on the fake promises they make before the election. It is not only about the election, it is about the making India a Viksit Bharat. There are many problems, but definitely there are solutions. Many people say that it is too difficult. But let me tell you, was independence easy? Was making modern India easy? No, right? So, we able to do it because we dreamed about it. With constitutional support, with constitutional amendments, and political will and public support, one election is not just a possibility, it is a future. As an NSS volunteer, we believe in service, we believe in action that make changes. One nation, one election is the future. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Dr. APJ Kalam said, dream is not what we see while sleeping. It is something that does not let us sleep. And Viksit Bharat, a prosperous and developed India, is a dream of not just me and you, but 140 crores of Indians. A dream. And today, I stand before you to talk about one such vision, one nation, one election. Do you know, India is world's largest democracy. We conduct multiple elections throughout the year. Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabha, local bodies, panchayats. This means every few months, some part of the country is voted. This means repetitive expenses, that is, we spend crores and lakhs of rupees just in conducting elections. It also means frequent distractions. We employ a large amount of labor in conducting elections, which leads to stagnant of many working government sectors. And it also means a government that is continuously in election mode. Moreover, the mode of conduct that is implemented during the election, it also leads to stabilization of multiple developmental projects. Now, people say that it is very difficult to implement the simultaneous election idea in a diverse country like India. But let me tell you an interesting fact. From 1952 to 1967, India actually had synchronized elections. It was only after 1967, due to political distractions, we moved to this current system of election. But think about it. If we could do it then, why can't we do it now? In fact, taking this vision of one nation, one election, it will bring stability in the working of government. It will reduce corruption that happens during conducting of elections, and it will also increase the voter count. It will ensure that government is actually focused on governance and not just on election campaigns. We all know that we aspire to be Viksit Bharat by 2047. And to achieve this, we should spend our time, money, and energy on the betterment and well-being of our nation instead of spending it on conducting elections. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar said, democracy is not just about elections. It is more about governance. So let us ask ourselves, is democracy only about election, or is it about good governance? Do we really want our leaders focused only on election campaigns, or we want them focused on nation building? Let's think about it and take a step towards Viksit Bharat. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Viva. Next participant is Yogan Kosobe, 21. Bosapi, please be ready. Participant number 81. Coming up before you is participant 121, Yogan Kosobe.
Good morning to my respected judges and my fellow colleagues. Today, let us discuss the idea of one nation, one nation, vital step towards the Viksit Bharat. Imagine a nation where the government is not constantly distracted by the rhythm of elections. Imagine a nation where the leaders completely dedicate their time and attention in implementing policies and crafting this nation. Yes, that is the promise of one nation, one election. Currently, we are in a cycle of staggered elections where it completely diverts our focus and drains our resources. One nation, one election is a simple yet a powerful solution. Synchronizing Lok Sabha and state assembly elections. This will help us to save resources. Imagine the cost of transport, logistics, and other administrative. Imagine if we divert this cost in the betterment to the sectors which really affect, such as infrastructures, education, and healthcare, which are the actual factors and areas of development towards Viksit Bharat. As APJ Abdul Kalam once said, a dream is not which you see while sleeping. It is something that does not let us sleep. One nation is a dream which will not give us rest until we achieve a better nation. A nation which helps us when we use the resources wisely in building strong and a developed nation. That's the point of Viksit Bharat. Today, if you go to see the elections, every month there are elections going in other states. There are a lot of money which is getting wasted over there. We can divert this money to the people we need, such as infrastructure, which is very important for the development of our nation, which plays an important role for the development, and healthcare, which is much needed in every state. Yes, it was done before, but it got stopped due to some reasons. And it's an easy job. We can start it again if we all come together. Currently, we are aware of cycle of federal elections, a constant jump that diverts our focus and resources, which also hinders the progress and development process of a nation. It's better if we move towards one nation, one election for the betterment and for the Viksit Bharat. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Saita, you are to come.
Good morning to the respective judges and everyone present here. Myself, Saita Gosali from Goa Multi-Faculty College, Darbhanga. In my point of view, India is a vibrant democracy where elections play a very crucial role. However, some elections across states and the center lead to high cost, policy delays, and continuous political campaigns. To overcome these challenges, the idea of one nation, one election has been proposed. This concept means conducting Lok Sabha and state assembly together across the country. It will save time, reduce expenses, and ensure smooth governance without frequent interruptions. Leaders can focus more on development and public welfare instead of focusing on constant election campaigns. This will bring political stability, economic growth, and faster decision making, helping India move towards Viksit Bharat, a fully developed nation. One nation, one election, paving the way for Viksit Bharat is a step towards a strong, efficient, and progressive India. Thank you.
Thank you, Saita. Next participant, number 83, Sarojini Nayak. After that, will be 84, Sana Viksit Sarojini Nayak.
Good morning, respected dignitaries and my dear friends. I am Sarojini Nayak from Goa Multi-Faculty College. Today, I stand before you to discuss on idea that has the potential to transform India's governance. One nation, one election. India, the world's largest democracy that conducts elections frequently at different levels, leading to potential disruptions, policy delays, and high expenditure. A good system can bring stability, efficiency, and faster development, contributing to Viksit Bharat and develop India. Viksit One Nation, One Election is not just a reform, it's a revolutionary step towards Viksit Bharat. It will strengthen democracy, ensure better governance, and facilitate India's journey toward becoming a global powerhouse. Let us support this vision for a united, strong, and progressive India. Thank you.
Thank you, Samruddhi. After that, partner number 80, Sai Gola, please be ready. You know, in front of you is Tana Harika, 84.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Khan from Goa Multi. Today I want to talk about a concept that has been gaining a momentum in India. That is one nation, one election. One nation, one election is a concept that holding a simultaneously election for India's Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly, such as like municipality and panchayat. One nation, one election is aimed to reduce the election cost and minimize the cost. One nation, one election is not just an one nation, one election is just an idea. It is steps towards to develop India. And the responsibility of citizens has been to support our vision for a stronger, united Japan.
Next participant is serial number 8. This is 80. Now this coming is 80. So that is 70.
So good morning, everyone. Today I take this opportunity to discuss the transformative idea of one nation, one election, and how it paves the path for Viksit Bharat, a developed India by 2047. So our nation, India, the world's largest democracy, conducts the election almost every year. So while the election is the foundation of democracy, frequent election disrupts the governance and increases the economic cost and creates political policy. Just imagine how our India would be if we conduct an election of Lok Sabha and State Assembly together in a single manner. That's the one. So I would like to put forward the 4 pillars or the objectives of Viksit Bharat and relate it to the one nation, one election, so that we can know how it leads the path towards the Viksit Bharat. So first would be the political stability. Second would be the economic growth and cost efficiency. Third would be the administrative efficiency and the security forces. Fourth would be the strong federalism. So the first point, political stability. India almost conducts election every year, because of which the policies which are formed are aimed for short term, leading to just winning the elections. So just imagine like conducting election once in every 5 years, so that the time gets saved and the policies which are formed are aimed at long term. And short term policies are really not worth it, because every party which formulates the policies, only 30% of it can be done successfully. So just imagine a short term policy which cannot be done. Even a long term policy can be done. So how can a short term policy be done? Second would be economic growth and cost efficiency. Neither thousands nor lakhs but crores of amount is being spent every year for elections. And this is not the money from the political parties, but this amount comes from the government of India, Sarkar, which we say. And this amount is of the taxpayers of India, the public fund. So it is our responsibility to ignite the thing of Viksit Bharat and minimize the cost of election, because election, based on the report of CMS, Center of Media Studies, almost 1.5% of GDP can be boosted by this issue of one nation, one election. 1.5% of GDP, 1.5% of GDP can be utilized in better way by investing in healthcare, infrastructure, and education. This amount are the critical pillars of the Viksit Bharat. So this is how we can go in the Bharat. Third, administrative efficiency. Huge amount is being invested on security forces every year for elections. Like our own college was used for storing EVMs. Large infrastructure, metal parts were used. So much cost is involved. So, and repeated implementation of law and order. Our country's law is already slow. Why to additionally burden them by putting forward this, by conducting elections every year, every after, strengthening the federalism. So, some may argue that this may create a center's monopoly, but if it's a better way, both can work together in a synchronized manner. So, policies can be for 5 years and there will be no blame game. And finally, based on reports from CMS again, Center of Media Studies, estimated around 1.5% of India's GDP can be boosted by implementing this one nation, one election. And almost 800 governance days, which comes to for every 5 years, which comes to 43% of 5 years tenure, is being wasted just by implementing a model code of conduct. So this can be utilized in a better way. More policies can be formed and utilized. So, of course, challenges exist, but our India knows how to overcome all these challenges, like past we did. And because strong electoral system will lead to a strong nation. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Good morning, dignitaries, respected dignitaries, teachers, and my dear friends. I am Rutuja Kavekar from Goa Multi-Faculty College, Dalbandra. Today I want to talk about one nation, one election. This means having the election for a whole country at the same time. We need strong and developed India called Viksit Bharat. To do this, we need a government that can work well and make good decisions. And our leaders should be able to focus on important works like developing roads, schools, and hospitals. Having one elections at a time can help to develop government work better. Our leader can focus on important work. So one nation, one election is a very good idea for our country. It will make happy and prosperous everyone. Let's work together, make it happen. Thank you.
Participant is serial number 17. Serial number 17, Diksha Naik.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shana. I am Goan Faculty College. Today I will speak on One Nation, One Election, paving the way for Viksit Bharat. So, One Nation, One Election means holding a Lok Sabha and state assembly election together, reducing frequent election cycles. This will save time, money, and resources while allowing government to focus on long-term development instead of constant campaigning. Frequent election disturb governance and slow down progress. A single election will bring political stability and will improve policy making and strengthen democracy key factor for Viksit Bharat or develop India. So let's support one nation, one election for stronger, more efficient and united states. Thank you.
Thank you, Diksha. Be ready.
Serial number
77. Serial number 77. Mr. Samas Saukar.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to talk about a vision that can strengthen our democracy. One nation, one election. Right now, election in India happens frequently, sometimes for Lok Sabha, sometimes for state assemblies, and sometimes for local bodies. While elections are the backbone of democracy, holding them so often creates multiple challenges. Huge amounts of money are spent, governance is disturbed, and the leaders remain busy in the election campaigns rather than focusing on the development. Now, imagine if all the elections were held together at once. What would happen? Massive cost of saving. Instead of spending crores on multiple times, this money can be used for public welfare projects like roads, schools, and healthcare. Uninterrupted governance. Frequent election distract government from policy making. A single election cycle will allow leaders to focus on real development. Political stability. Continuous elections lead to political conflict. One election cycle, instead of that, leaders can focus on the governance rather than election strategies. Better voter awareness. Many voters remain unaware of the local election. In the case of विकास का अगर भारत अकेलेगा तो हर सपना रहेगा. Of course, implementing this revised constitution and program if we think begins with the right things out, one nation, one nation. एक विचार को अपना भारत को और मजबूत बनाएंगे. अब एक विकास नया भारत नहीं, वंदे मातरम.
Next we have bill number 14, Ms. Clara.
From Bosco College of Engineering, Fatorda. The nation won election, nothing new to us. But being won when we had a different strategy, we all looked up, reach outer space, but we all did it at once. We are a country that works together and understands the concepts better. The understanding of what nation won election, good for the aspect that the state elections and also local elections would be there the same day. But when we have so much differences in the people, different understandings. But do we want a country that works 5 years in campaigning and not 5 years in leading? We need a country that works for the people. Imagine, now we have the same government in the center and works together with the state governments. Their policies are the same. And everything works in the right. Imagine a country full of good ideas and the same policy set by you all for the whole country throughout. Now imagine a system without disruption like the present day. Multiple elections in the 5 years. But now, if you have one day, one campaign done, one understanding and one future, we can all work at the same time for the same policies. India is a country which needs a lot of development. But we need to slow down the process by various elections, various propaganda, government polarization, different ideologies causing an issue, when we have several regions in the country having an issue about your food, your security, education. There are several aspects that need to be worked towards. But one election and one nation working together, but the same concepts, we take care of our power, we take every ideation forward. Now, what are the problems in the present time? What are the things that we are facing right now? Every state election has a different idea. Every district has a different idea. But what if the center, the state, all work by the same concepts, the same policies, the same understanding, and we all work towards the same future? That's what we need. That's what our PM is looking forward to. That's what is Viksit Bharat. By 2047, we want a stronger country, not just for us, but also for the future generations that are coming forward. Understand that this is the time to make the change. The last Lok Sabha elections took over 60,000 crores of money. This can be stopped. Right economic stability will be taken care of. Money towards us all for our education, our healthcare, and the development of the country. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Siddhi Shirodkar. Please be ready. We have
action is constantly pushed and switching strategies and keep shifting. Will the team ever win? Nothing about our country. With elections happening almost every year. Governments interrupted like a match. Always in campaign mode and never in action mode. But what if we had one nation, one election? What if India, the world's largest democracy, synchronized its election and focused on governance rather than constant politicking? It's not just an idea, it's a vision of Viksit Bharat. But one nation, one election. Today, every few months, a state or a region is preparing for elections. Not the code of conduct is enforced. Development projects slow down. Political parties are in campaign mode instead of policy mode. But if we cut elections together, more saving, then elections, more governance and fewer disruptions, more focus on the people and less on policies. Challenges, of course. Some say it's impossible, some say it's too complex. Sending a spacecraft to Mars a challenge? When a billion voices rise for change, transformation is inevitable. The conclusion persists. One nation, one election. Voting. It's still strong, forward-looking India. It's about a country where leaders spend 5 years leading instead of 5 years campaigning. It's about a Viksit Bharat, a India, and the prize is our vote. I'm ready to embrace this new era. I'm ready to take India to the next level. If yes, let's raise our voices for one nation, one election. Let's march together forward for a brighter, stronger, and a developed India. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
देश के काम नहीं। भारत केवल एक देश नहीं बल्कि एक स्वतंत्र लोकतंत्र है जहाँ हर मतदाता की उंगली की एक सिहाई भी हो इतिहास की नई इबारत लिखता है। यह वो मौका है जब किसान अपनी मेहनत का मोल मांगता है, जहाँ युवा अपने नए सुनहरे भविष्य का तलाश करता है और हमारा समाज इस लोकतंत्र की असली ताकत बनता है। इन सारी चीजों को मद्देनजर रखते हुए एक राष्ट्र एक चुनाव की पहल की गई है। आखिरकार क्या है ये पहल? कल्पना कीजिए कि हर कुछ महीनों में बार-बार चुनाव होते रहे और इनका सही ठप पड़ जाए, तो क्या हमारा भारत देश आगे बढ़ पाएगा? नहीं, आगे बढ़ेगी तो केवल राजनीति, देश नहीं। आज भारत में चुनाव कोई उत्सव नहीं बल्कि कभी न खत्म होने वाला सियासी तमाशा बन चुका है। लोगों को लगता है कि वो लोकतंत्र का हिस्सा है, लेकिन हकीकत तो यह है कि वे केवल एक मोहरा बनकर रह चुके हैं, जिनके हाथों में नई उम्मीदें और नए वादों का झुंझुना पकड़ दिया गया है। हर चुनाव में करोड़ों अरबों रुपए केवल प्रचार प्रसारण के लिए बहा दिए जाते हैं। हर चुनाव से पहले एक नया जहर हो दिया जाता है, कभी धर्म के नाम पर, कभी जाति के नाम पर, कभी देशभक्ति के नाम पर। आचार शासन व्यवस्था आचार संहिता की जंजीरों में जकड़ दिया गया है, तो प्रशंसा गतिविधियां बेअधर में लटक चुकी है। तो वही दूसरी ओर अगर पूरा देश एक साथ चुनाव लड़ेगा तब राजनीति की ओर ध्यान दे पाएगा और हमारा भारत तेजी से विकास की ओर आगे बढ़ पाएगा। एक राष्ट्र एक चुनाव की मदद से हम सरकार के कोष की बचत कर पाएंगे, जो हम शिक्षा के लिए, स्वास्थ्य के लिए, बुनियादी विकास के लिए उपयोग करेंगे, समाज के स्थायी संभालने के लिए यूज करेंगे, न कि केवल चुनावी वादों का आडंबर होगा। आज इस आधुनिक भारत में, लोकतंत्र के भारत में हमें चुनाव की सुधार करने की आवश्यकता है, जो हमारे लोगों को संगठित, प्रभावित और उत्तरदायी बनाएगा। यह केवल वैचारिक सुधार नहीं बल्कि एक विकास की और यथार्थवादी और दूरदर्शी पहल है जो हमें वोटों से बांटेगा नहीं बल्कि एकजुट करके विकास की ओर आगे बढ़ाएगा। आज समय आ चुका है कि हम ऐसे ऐतिहासिक विचारों को आत्मसात करें, उसका समर्थन करें और अच्छी तरीके से समझें तो विकसित भारत द्वारा बनाने में हम सहायक बने। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
We have the last contestant for today, serial number 93, Mr. Sherwin Lawrence. Serial number
Respected judges, esteemed guests, and fellow participants, imagine a nation where leaders focus on development rather than being in campaign mode all year round. A nation where policies are implemented without constant interruptions. A nation where taxpayers' money is spent on progress, not just on elections. This is the vision of one nation, one election. India, the world's largest democracy, faces a major challenge: frequent elections. Almost every year, some state goes to the polls, triggering the model code of conduct, which halts new policies and slows governance. Not to mention, elections come to an enormous cost. 60,000 crore was spent on the 2019 Lok Sabha elections alone. Now, imagine the savings if Lok Sabha and state assembly elections were held together. Resources could be used for education, healthcare, and infrastructure instead of endless voting cycles. But it's not just about money. Frequent elections mean leaders are constantly in campaign mode, making short-term promises rather than focusing on long-term development. If elections were synchronized, governments would have a stable 5-year period to work efficiently, bringing real change to the country. Plus, voter turnout would improve, and citizens would engage in a single decisive election rather than multiple scattered ones. Of course, challenges exist. Constitutional amendments, political consensus, and logistics must be addressed. Some critics argue that simultaneous elections might limit state government's flexibility, but the benefits far outweigh the hurdles. A stable, efficient democracy is the need of the hour. If India truly aspires to be Viksit Bharat, we must embrace bold reforms. One nation, one election is not just a policy change, it's a transformational step towards a stronger, more efficient democracy. Let's choose progress over politics. Let's choose stability over chaos. Let's choose one nation, one election. Thank you.
who have registered and whose name is not called out here. Is there any contestant?
Open, right?
Others have not got. Come here and take this.
Come.
Yes, dear participants, respected judges, parents of the participants, and SSPOs from colleges, as we conclude this Viksit Bharat Youth Parliament South Goa District, it is with pride that we say that we are happy to host you here at Bosco College of Engineering. We hope that you have all enjoyed your few hours of stay here and giving a lot from this event. You were given a chance to speak and voice out your ideas in this Viksit Bharat Youth Parliament. We immensely thank our judges. We have a jury of 5 judges. We forgot to introduce them in the beginning, but let me take an opportunity to introduce them and felicitate them now in front of all of you. Our first judge is Ms. Nelly Rodriguez, who is the administrator of Goa Panchayat Mahila Shakti Abhiyan. She was a lecturer at MES, also joining Nagar. We kindly invite you, ma'am, to a small circle participation on behalf of the Bosco College of Engineering. Next judge is Mr. Bhavino Fernandez, who is the Sarpanch of Village Panchayat of Kamuli. Thank you very much. Next judge is Father Bosco Fernandez, who is the Director of Bosco Youth Services. Thank you very much, Father. A fourth judge is Diana Fernandez, who is a senior reporter at the Navin Times. Thank you, Ms. Diana. And fifth judge, Mr. Kishan Mangeshkar, is a civil engineer and a business management in the market. Thank you, Kishan. Once again, big thank you on behalf of Mr. Satish Kakurkar, Ms. Shruti Jamle, and faculty here at Engineering. We heartily thank you for taking time and coming here itself and speaking is a great achievement. Okay, whether you are selected for the next round, it's a secondary thing. But we thank you immensely for coming here and voicing your ideas. I think multi-faculty college, Dhanapur, deserves a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming from all the way to Dhanapur and in such huge numbers and taking part. All the other colleges also, thank you very much for your support. And we hope to see you hopefully next year if our college is selected to host this event once more. Thank you very much. Please note that there are snacks being served at the registration counter. Please do not leave without taking a snack box.